Good morning everyone. Guess where I am today? Well, I've got lots of sun, I've got lots of sand and I've got lots of sea. I'm actually here in Ryde, the town of Ryde on the Isle of Wight, and I've been staying here at this hotel, the Dorset House Hotel, which is a hotel I normally go to when I go to Ryde, whenever I pay a visit to the Isle of Wight on this beautiful early spring day in March. Hope everyone's all keeping well and happy. I'm just out of London for a day, just enjoying the sights and sounds of the People's Republic of Vectis, or the Isle of Wight as it's better referred to. So yeah, I'm going to have a little travel around the island today. I've got some beautiful weather for it, so I'll come down and see what's cooking in the town of Ryde. So I'm going to go down to the Isle of Wight Bus Museum, see what's out there. Then I'll go to Ryde St John's Road Station. So I'm planning on going to Shanklin today. Newport, Cowes. What a beautiful day. And look at this, all this beautiful Victorian architecture you've got here. Gorgeous architecture. So this is Dover Street here. Oh look, we've got Southern Vectis bus coming. Southern Vectis bus on its way. How appropriate is that? Let's just wait and see if we can catch it. There's a Southern Vectis bus here on service 3, bound for Newport. Here it comes. One of the new fleet of Enviro 400s. And there's another one passing by. Wow, how's about that for a chance? That one's on service 8. Good old Southern Vectis, part of the island's bus scene since 1929. Still with their famous fleet of green buses. London Transport's buses are red, Southern Vectis buses are green. They were green and always will be. So I'm heading south now along Dover Street here in Ryde. Oh, we've got a stormtrooper on patrol here. Stormtrooper on an emergency call. Just get the helmet in there. So I think we've got some stormtroopers alive and well here in Ryde on the Isle of Wight. So coming up to the southern end of Dover Street here in the Isle of Wight. Very shortly we're going to be turning left towards Ryde St John's Station. So at the end of this road here we're going to be turning left down the hill. I mean, look at all this beautiful Victorian architecture along here. This is what I love about Ryde. And there's this former church here, this church with its large steeple. Now that church is one of 2 church steeples you can actually see from Portsmouth. So as soon as you see that steeple, you know that you're coming into Ryde. So this is the bottom end of Dover Street we're coming up to now. I've just had my breakfast and I feel good. Full English breakfast. 2 sausages, 2 hash browns, 2 lots of beans and 1 egg. Can't say better than that. Now Ryde is well known for its hills. Well, lots of places on the Isle of Wight are well known for their hills. As you can see, you've got that nice steep hill going upwards there. So that heads west where that car's going. We're going east. So we're going to cross the road. Just remember, this is Park Road. Just remember that on the Isle of Wight the roads are a lot narrower than they are on the mainland. And people have a special way of driving on the Isle of Wight. It's either give way or get the F out of the way. So this is Park Road, which takes you down to the Isle of Wight Bus Museum, which we'll come to in a couple of minutes. Now I'm actually a member of the Isle of Wight Bus Museum. At the moment it's not open because it's still technically winter, but it will be opening in time for the Easter break or shortly after Easter, when the schools break up. Do ignore this rather subnormal large pothole there. So at the moment we're heading east along Park Road towards the bus museum, and also we'll see the Island Line Railway as well in the next couple of shakes. And what I love about this street is, as you know, Ryde's got lots of ancient and modern architecture. Thankfully most of it is all Victorian, from its regal prowess as a Victorian seaside town back in the 1800s and 1900s. Many of the streets in the town of Ryde are actually one-way streets, so as you can see here, Park Road is one way in the eastbound direction. In the distance you can just see a humpback bridge. That is the bridge that goes over the Island Line Railway. But before we'll do that, we'll come to the Isle of Wight Bus Museum. Just wait until it's safe to cross and then it's all good. And then we continue walking eastwards along Park Road down this hill. So the hill keeps going down and down and down. Over there's the eastern part of Ryde, Apley Park Road and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been a member of the Isle of Wight Bus Museum now for the past 15 years or so, 20 years, I've forgotten now, I've lost count. But my membership's still active and I enjoy going to the running days during the spring. They have all the old Southern Vectis buses running around various parts of the island and around Ryde itself. Now, what have we here? Do excuse the sun, but we are now entering the Isle of Wight Bus Museum premises, which used to be the old Southern Vectis bus depot here in Ryde, up until it closed in 2011. We've got a couple of vintage buses here. We've got this Bristol RE coach. It's a lovely Bristol RE coach. A few of Southern Vectis' finest here. So we've got this ex-Southern Vectis Leyland Leopard, I think it is. 309, dating from 1982. So that one's an X-Reg. And the letters DL, that always significantly reminded people that the buses were registered on the Isle of Wight. So every time you see a registration with the letter DL, that means the vehicle was registered on the Isle of Wight. This is the back end of Bristol VR 37, or 637 as it was in Southern Vectis days. So this used to be a Southern Vectis Bristol VR, and then it later went to Solent Blue Line in the late 80s and early 90s. It's actually preserved in the Solent Blue Line blue and yellow livery from that period. Now this area is a bit out of bounds because this area is still used by Southern Vectis to park their vehicle fleet. It's like a sort of overspill parking place for their buses. So I've got some of Southern Vectis' Optare Solos there against the sun. And then we've got a few of Southern Vectis' other vehicles over there in the distance. I'll just zoom in a bit. There we go, so we've got an Enviro 400, Scania Omnicity, and a few of the Vectis Blue coaches in the background there. The Enviro 400 being Southern Vectis' main vehicle of choice. And the Scania Omnicities, which are the flat buses just there, the two of them, they're starting to get elderly now, so they're being replaced later this year, so they're the oldest buses in the fleet. And there's also a little cat there running around. Look, we've also got the garage cat on his security, pounding the beat, making sure that all the rats and the mice are well away from the garage, and the odd birds also. So there he is, actively securing the premises against unwanted visitors, but he's failed because I'm here. So yeah, that's the back end. Let me just zoom out again. So that's the back end of the former Southern Vectis and Solent Blue Line Bristol VR. And this coach, this Leyland Leopard coach, has got Eastern Coachworks bodywork, and it was one of a couple which were provided to Southern Vectis back in the early 80s. It's actually preserved in the early 80s National Holidays white livery with the National Holidays lettering in red and blue, which I remember very well from when I was a kid, visiting the Isle of Wight and places like that. So that's a close-up view of the National Holidays logo, lettering in the early 80s style. And of course the old Southern Vectis headquarters, Nelson Road, Newport, Isle of Wight. And as we all know, Southern Vectis were a major user of Bristol vehicles with Eastern Coachworks bodies from the 1940s right up until the late 1980s. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the museum. So that's the main entrance to the museum, down that footpath down there. There's nothing to see here at the moment because it's closed until Easter. So what we're going to do, we're going to walk along this bridge. And this bridge takes you over the Island Line Railway, which connects Ryde Pier Head and Ryde Esplanade with Sandown, Brading, Sandown and Shanklin. You can hear the bells of All Saints in the distance. Oh, beautiful morning. Absolutely beautiful Sunday morning here in Ryde. So what we'll do, we'll just come to this footbridge. Just come to the parapet of this humpback bridge over the railway. So that's the Island Line Railway down here. So this part still has the old semaphore signalling. So this building on the side here, that's the eastern part of the Isle of Wight's bus museum, or the former Southern Vectis Ryde depot as was until 2011. Now that little stream down there, that is called Monkton Mead Brook. That little stream here is Monkton Mead Brook, and it's notorious for flooding. Whenever there's heavy rain, this stream, it floods. And when it floods, the water also goes onto the railway, and the railway gets submerged. Thankfully that only happens every, I don't know, once or twice a year. But that's a little brook there. And this is the Island Line Railway line here. So we've got the northbound and southbound lines, southbound line being on the left, northbound line being on the right, and in the distance there's still one of the old semaphore signals. You can just see in the distance that red semaphore signal, that's a home signal. It's in the lowered position, which means that a train has already gone past. Now what we'll do, we'll come to Ryde St John's Road station in a little while, in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So that's that direction there, that's looking south towards Sandown and Shanklin, and this view is looking west into Ryde itself. If we just cross over the road, as it's nice and peaceful and quiet, we have the other end of the Island Line heading northwards. So this part of the Island Line heads north towards Ryde Esplanade Station and Ryde Pier Head. We've got the rather uninspiring council and electricity depot here, so not that much to see around here, to be honest. At least if you look that way, you've got the view towards Ryde, and there's that church where we just walked past earlier on. So what we'll do, we'll cross over back onto the other side of the road where there's a pavement, well, if you can call it a pavement anyway. So this view is looking west, and it just goes to show how hilly some parts of Ryde actually are. Not just Ryde, but many of the islands, towns in general, are quite known for their steep hills. So yeah, this is the Isle of Wight Bus and Coach Museum, and it's a very appropriate place for the Isle of Wight to have their bus collection in here, because it was obviously a bus depot. Now in Southern Vectis, their parlance was bus depot. London Transport, we say bus garage, because in London, depots were only used for trams and trolley buses. Garages were used for buses. So there you go, there's the sign for the Isle of Wight Bus Museum. Zoom out a little bit, there we go. Isle of Wight Bus Museum, free admission, but unfortunately it's closed because it's still the early days and it won't be open until Easter. But it will open, and when it's open it is a bloody good place to visit. One of the hidden wonders of the Isle of Wight is the Isle of Wight Bus Museum. Now we're heading back west along Park Road, and then what we'll do a left turn at this junction up ahead, and we'll head towards Ryde St John's Road Station. Might see if there's some D stock knocking about, or class 484s if you want to be pernicular. So that's Park Road there, continuing on up that very steep hill, which takes you right into Ryde town centre. So now we're going to do a left turn. Oh, I love walking down this part of Ryde. It's just so peaceful and quiet. Along with its Victorian and modern architecture blending in nicely. So to think this is actually my first vlog of 2024, and it's also my first visit to the Isle of Wight in 2024. So I've got two firsts here in this vlog for you all. Nice bit of colourful architecture here, that butterfly on the wall there. There's a lot of places on the Isle of Wight where there's lots of different colours on the different coloured paint schemes and everything, and it's wonderful. A bit of creativity, it goes a long way in this world. So coming up to the junction with St John's Road, where these traffic lights are. Just show you this Royal Mail post box here, which dates from the days of King George V. So still got this King George V pillar box there. Still doing its job that it was designed to do back in the 1920s and 30s. Still earning its crust. So we're coming to these traffic lights now. Then we'll cross the road and hopefully we might get some class 484s. You never know. Got to beware on this junction because there's blind hills. So this is St John's Road itself, so that way down there, that way up there, that takes you up into Ryde town centre. So that's St John's Road looking west. And what we do now, we walk into Ryde St John's railway station, which is this station here. So Ryde St John's Road is one of the stations on the Island Line, and it's also the home of the depot where the Island Line have their fleet of class 484 ex-London Underground D-stock trains. Let's see if we can find some. So here we are, this is Ryde St John's Road Station. Looks like the units are all out in service today. So there we are, there's Ryde St John's Road Station. So that view there, that's looking north towards Ryde Esplanade and Ryde Pier Head. And that view there, that's looking south towards Brading, Sandown Lake and Shanklin. And this footbridge here was actually installed in 2001. Because the original footbridge used to be on the northern end of the station, but because the footbridge was wearing away because of its bad construction, they got rid of it and demolished it. So they replaced it with this structure on the southern end of the station. So what we'll do, we'll have a little walk up. So we'll go up the footbridge. can see here, platform 2 for trains to Brading, Smallbrook Junction, Sandown Lake and Shanklin. Now, Smallbrook Junction is the interchange for the Isle of Wight steam railway that goes to Haven Street and Wootton. Now there's actually one Class 484 stabled in the sidings. We can just make it out here. There's one of them there. That's 004. 484 004 there, stabled in the sidings. And this is a view of the depot. So this is actually Ryde depot. Oh, we've got Southern Vectis bus there crossing over the bridge on its merry way to Sandown or Shanklin or Ventnor. So yeah, this is actually Ryde depot. As you can see, it's quite a small premises. It's quite a small and compact premises. Oh, we've got an ambulance as well. Hopefully someone will get the medical treatment they deserve. So yeah, this is Ryde depot. It was originally a steam depot because that building there with the 2 doors on it, we'll just zoom in on it. That little depot there, that used to be the steam depot building where you could have 2 or 3 steam locomotives inside. Now the Isle of Wight used to have steam locomotives and steam trains up until December 1966. So the 31st of December 1966 was actually the last day of operation of steam trains on the Isle of Wight. And then from March 1967, the remainder of the island line between Ryde Pierhead and Shanklin was electrified with the 750 volt DC third rail as part of the Southern Region's electrification scheme. And then from March 1967 onwards, the line was operated with electric trains, which were formerly ex-London Transport or ex-London Underground 1920 standard stock trains, which were built between 1923 and 1934. Most of them got scrapped, but 1 or 2 of the cars were actually preserved at the LT Museum depot over in Acton. So as you can see, this is a general view of Ryde St John's Road station looking north, along with Ryde depot just to the east of the station. So that's where all the trains and maintenance facilities are for the Island line. And also another point of interest at Ryde St John's Road is this lovely little signal box just down here. Now this signal box here, I'll just zoom in on it. So that signal box there, that controls most of the track work as far as braiding, along with the access to the sidings. Oh, we've got the signal up, so that means there could be a train of Class 484s on its way. Excellent. So we'll hang around for a bit and wait for a Class 484 to make its way in. But while we do that, I'll just talk to you about this lovely little signal box. Now this signal box was originally located at Waterloo East Station in London up until 1925, I believe. And then when all the lines out of Waterloo East and Charing Cross were electrified in the 1920s, this signal box was actually moved to where it is now, here in Ryde, at Ryde St John's Road. And it actually controls all the signals between Ryde and Brading. All the other signals are now the more modern automatic style signals, but as you can see on the left, you've got a semaphore signal. Now that semaphore signal is the home signal. It's got the red arm on it, and as you can see, the red arm on the signal is actually placed at a 45-degree angle, so it's pointing upwards, which means that the line is clear for a train to pass through, which is good enough for me because hopefully we'll get a train of Class 484s coming in and I can record it coming through and stopping at the station here at Ryde St John's Road. And then once the train passes that signal, the arm of the signal will lower to a horizontal angle to denote that the train has cleared the line. And what we'll do, we'll just go down on the southbound platform, which is normally platform 2. There used to be 3 platforms here. Well, there still are 3 platforms. But platform 3 nowadays is just used for stabling trains and things. So I've got the other more closer view of Ryde Depot. I'll just zoom out again. So yeah, you've got Ryde Depot and there's a 484 004 is stabled in the siding there. Now there's actually 5 Class 484 units which run on the Island line. But normally there's just 2, or at the moment there might be just 1, running at any one time. That's another view of the footbridge in all its new millennium design. Not the most awe-inspiring of footbridges, but it was more designed for its practicality rather than its aesthetic appeal. And on the far distance you've got one of the multicoloured colour light signals. Now Ryde St John's Road, this station used to be interesting because up until 1966 this platform here, which is platform 3, this used to be served by trains from Ryde travelling towards Newport and Cowes. And platform 2 was always served by trains going towards Shanklin and Ventnor. Now Ventnor was closed in 1965 and the line to Newport and Cowes was closed in 1966, which only left the train service running from Ryde Pier Head down to Shanklin only. And there was a lot of uproar over that because Ventnor back then was still a popular tourist holiday destination. And there was a judicial review into the closing of the line to Ventnor. But unfortunately British Rail still went ahead with the plans to close the line and withdraw the train services to Ventnor. And that is why the line still runs only as far as Shanklin. I'll just give you a little more closer view of the signal box there. It's a lovely little signal box along with its semaphore signal. There we are, so we've got semaphore signal on the left. One of the few which still survive on this section of line. And then you've got the little South Eastern Railway signal box there, which still works, and it's still got the new panelling in to control braiding as well. The new track layout upgrading, which was part of the upgrade for the Island line back in 2021, when they phased out the old 1938 stock units, the Class 483s, and replaced them with the former D stock trains, such as that one over there, 484004. Bit of a close-up for you there, so that's 484004 swapping Ryde for Richmond. Just zoom out a bit. So what I'll do, I'll pause the video for the moment, and then I'll pick it back up as and when I hear a train approaching. That seems a fair enough deal, doesn't it? So what I'll do, I'll just pause the video and I shall bring it back when the train comes. Okay, as I've been reliably informed by one of the Island Line staff, there's a train due in 2 minutes from Ryde St John's Road station down to Shanklin. So I'm going to wait for it now. Now the other characteristic of the Island Line's railway is the track bed, which is actually made out of shingle, as you can see here, along with my shadow. So instead of having normal track ballast like in the rest of the UK mainland, the track actually rests on what is actually rounded shingle. Now judging, I can hear a sound. That is an Island Line Class 484 coming in. So we'll wait for it to come through as it screeps and scrapes its way along. So I do like this station because Ryde St John's Road is very much, here it comes, Ryde St John's Road is the main nerve centre of the Island Line network. So here we are, here's a Class 484 coming in. Oh, D stock, lovely, lovely D stock. Now this one here, it's 005. 484005. On its way to Shanklin. So there it is, just changing the staff there. Changing the driving crew. So that's the lesser spotted 484005 there, on its way to Shanklin. Now what we'll do, we'll go over to the footbridge and get a view of it leaving the station. There you go, there's a guard's whistle, so we'll go upstairs to the footbridge. Get a photo of it later on as well. So that's about to leave towards Shanklin, Sandown, Breeding and Shanklin. Get a nice overhead view of it there. So zoom in, there we are. So that's 484005. Just turn round. Get a shot of it leaving for Shanklin, passing the semaphore signal as well as the famous signal box there at Ryde St John's. And there she goes, clattering along on her way to Shanklin. Superb little scene that. Now in a short while that signal, the semaphore signal, will change to the lowered position, which will denote that the line will be occupied. So yes, this is a general view of Ryde. Looking west. Oh, we've got a fire engine. From the Isle of Wight County Fire Brigade, or the Isle of Wight Fire and Rescue Service as they are now called. So yeah, fond greetings I shall send to you from the lovely town of Ryde here on the Isle of Wight. So I might do another vlog later on in the afternoon. If I don't, I wish you all well. I shall say ta for the like.